Okay, shalom everyone. I did an interview. I did a video about a month ago on this particular book called "100 Amazing Facts About the Negro with Complete Proof," and I stopped at number 21, so I'm going to resume at number 22. So here we go. Again, it's 100 Amazing Facts About the Negro Complete Proof. I purchased this book off Amazon a couple of months ago, but I just did a video on it about a month ago. So it says number 22. 2 centuries ago, the Negro of South Africa and Northern European both practiced a form of cannibalism that was strikingly similar. Now we know that the original people of Europe were melanated people, says centuries ago. Of the vital organs of slain foes. The Negro made a muti, or charm, against evil. Sometimes they ate the heart of a brave man, wow, believing that it gave added courage. The European would roast or dry the bodies of hanged criminals. Of these, they made mumia, a medicine for internal and external use, which was supposed to have peculiar curative charm. In 1683, when the Germans defeated the Turks and often Switzerland, thousands of surrender, Turks were treated in this manner. An army surgeon who was present wrote, "None were given grace, all were massacred, and in most cases they were skinned, the fatty parts were roasted, and the genitals cut off, dried, and then put into big sacks." Whew. Oh, Lord have mercy. And of this they made precious mumia. Regular cannibalism existed in Germany as late as 1650. Number 23. Estefanico, a Negro from Morocco, was one of a party of 4 to cross the North American continent in 1536 for the first time. The journey took 9 years. In 1539, he headed an expedition that discovered Arizona and New Mexico. Estefanico travels served to open up the Southwest and the states west of Florida as far as the Pacific. Number 24. The founder of the city of Chicago was Baptist Ponte de Sabo, a Negro, in 1779. Tempu Tib, a Negro trader, enslaves an ivory from Zanzibar. That's number 25. East Africa was the first civilized man to penetrate the center of Africa. He explored territory nearly as large as the United States. Stanley Wiseman, Cameron, and other white explorers followed in his path. He died in 1905 very rich. 26. For 2,234 years, human beings had been tried to reach the top of the world. Thousands of lives and millions of dollars were lost in the attempt. On April 6, 1909, Matthews Henson, a New York Negro, was the first of a party of 6 to do so. He is now In 1943, the only human being alive to have stood there, the first Arctic explorer, was Pytheas, a Greek who perished in an attempt in 325 BC. Pytheas. 27. Science and invention. Jane Ernest Matelizer, a Dutch white Indian Negro, a Dutch West Indian Negro living in Lynn, Massachusetts, invented the first machine for sewing the soles of shoes to the uppers. This invention, oops, what did I do? I'm sorry. This invention, which was 11 years in the making, revolutionized the industry and gave shoes supremacy to the United States. You know they made millions. It made several millionaires, one of whom left $4 million to Harvard University. Overworked and privation hastened Matelizer to his grave in 1889 at the age of 37. He left a few shares of stock to a white church, which later saved it from being sold for debt. 28. George Washington Carver of Tuskegee Institute, one of the world's greatest agriculture chemists, was awarded the Roosevelt Medal in 1939 for distinguished service in the field of science. From the peanut he extracted 285 products, and from the sweet potato 118. Dr. Carver was born a slave. Thomas Edison once offered him a large salary, like they always do, to take charge of one of the Edison laboratories, but Carver refused in order to continue the work he had begun with Booker T. Washington at Tuskegee Institute. Jews and Ethiopians. Number 29. The Mohammedans believed that Moses was a black man. Their Bible, the Quran, says so. God told Moses to put his hand into his bosom. The Quran says that it came out white. Exactly what the Bible says came out. As well in the Bible, the actual Torah. The commentators declare that Moses' hand could not have been white before, and that the miracle of Jehovah intended was making the black skin white. That was the intent of the miracle, from black to white, and then turning it black again. It says the Septuagint or the Greek Bible agrees with Quran. Number 30. The characteristics of the Bible are largely Negroes. The Jews were slaves to Egyptians for nearly 430 years. Only 70 Jews went to Egypt with Jacob. The Bible says that 600,000 men left with Moses, which according to Hush Offer meant a total of 3,154,000 with women and children. For this large number to have left mixing with the Egyptian, who were black, must have taken place on a vast scale. About 12 million Negroes were brought to the New World. Imagine how much of their origin, color, and culture the later would take with them should they return to Africa. And you realize how much of the original Jews remain in only those 70 Jews. After 4th century, Tacitus, Roman historian of 90 AD, says that the Romans of this day particularly believed that the Jews which then abounded in Europe came from Ethiopia, the land of the blacks. The present white colors of the Europeans and American Jews is very likely due to the same cause as the fair skin and straight hair of large numbers of Negroes. The Bible classes the Ethiopians and the Jews together. Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopian unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord? The Chaldean, the land in which the Jews originated, was also a Negro land. Hence, Abraham might also have been black. Well, we know he was black. It says 31, the Falashi or Negro Jews of Ethiopia, led by Queen Judith, put the line of Solomon and the Queen Sheba off the throne of the Ethiopian in 937 AD and ruled for 40 years. The Falashis asserted that they are the original Jews. They call themselves the Beta Israel or the chosen people. 32. The Negro Jews of India are permitted to enter the same synagogues as the white ones, nor the Negro Jews of India are not permitted to enter the same synagogues as the white ones, nor to bury their dead in the same cemetery. 33 on medicine. Imhotep of ancient Egypt was the real father of medicine. He lived about 2300 BC. Greece and Rome had their knowledge of medicine from him. Yeah, that's where they get all their knowledge from. Everything that Greece and Rome know today, they get it from Egypt. They learned it from Egypt. They did not have that original information, so they took it from Egypt. And they're going to call it their own, as if they originated with them. It says, he lived about 2300 BC. Greece and Roman had their knowledge of medicine from him. In Rome, he was worshipped in the Prince of Peace in the form of a black man. His Ethiopian portrait showed him a Negro. Imhotep was also prime minister to King Zoser, as well as the foremost architect of his time. The saying, eat, drink, and be merry tomorrow we die, has traced to him Hippocrates, the so-called father of medicine, lived 2,000 years after Imhotep. Y'all forgive me when I'm trying to pronounce some of these names. Number 34, Ibn Ali, an African Negro, was private physician to Charles VII, King of France, between 1403 and 1465. When the king fell dangerously ill at Toulouse, Ibn Ali was sent for and he cured him. Thereafter, the king made him a member of his suite, of course. Wow, this is like, ooh, Lord have mercy. Okay, number 35. Dr. C. Tavares, an African Negro, was the private physician to King Carlos I of Portugal until the latter death of 1908. And of course, because most of the black Jews was vanished from Spain to Portugal. And then from Portugal, so all of them was sent to West Africa, St. Thomas. So this is the Inquisition. This is during the Inquisition time, during the time of Inquisition. 36. Dr. Daniel Williams, Chicago surgeon, who died in 1931, was the first to perform a successful operation on the human heart. Okay. Number 37. France has 6 color cabinet ministers. Serenio de Heredia, 1887, Senator Henry Lemery, 1915 through 1918, and 1934, Alcide Delmont, 1928, Blaise Balas, Dagny, and 1931, Grintian. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing those. I'm probably gooding them up, but you all can see it. Okay, that was 37. Candace 1932, Gaston Marneville. 1937, D. Heredia, as Minister of the Public Works, built some of France's finest roads. Wow. It's probably beyond 100. I'm pretty sure it's more. It has to be more than 100. Number 38, Eugene Chin, one of the most dynamic political figures of present century and Minister of Foreign Affairs for China in 1927, was born of Chinese Negro parentage in Trinidad, West Indies in 1878. He was also secretary to Dr. Sun Yat-sen, senator or senior, first president of China. Maybe that's senior. Probably Dr. Sun Yat Senior, first president of China. 39, race mixing. Persina, a queen of Ethiopia, 60 BC, presented her husband Hydaspes with a light-colored child, which color is strange among Ethiopians. She declared that it was due to the presence of a white statue in the room at the time of conception. So she's saying she declared that her child is white or was light because it was due to the presence of a white statue in the room at the time of conception. Similarly, Maria Teresa of Spain and Austria, wife of Louis the 14th, 1516. This 16th. Actually, the 14th, because 10, 1, and then 5 from that would be the 14th. Yeah, King of France bore him a mulatto daughter in 1665. The queen spent most of her time with a Negro dwarf named Nobu, while the king passed most of his with the beauties that thronged his court. Let me go back. Let me go back here, okay. It says the queen spent most of her time with a Negro dwarf named Nobu. Okay. While the king passed most of his with the beauties that thronged his court. The doctors explained the color of the child by saying that the black man looked at the queen. It must have been a very penetrating look, said the king. I'm sorry. Rightfully, a noted writer of that time attributed the color of a similar child born to a high, noble woman to the mother fondness for chocolate. They just could not admit that they was mixing. So they're going to put it on statues and chocolate and everything else. Lord have mercy. Number 40. Oh, boy. Anyway. Anna, a Negro servant girl of Calavecchio, Italy, wife of a white mule driver, became the concubine of the Pope Clement II, the seventh. Her son Alessandro, born 1511, became reigning Duke of Florence and Mary Margaret, only daughter of the Emperor Charles V, ruler of the Germany, the Netherlands, Austria, and Spain in 1536. I may be off on some of these Roman numerals. I'm not used to those kind of numbers, so I'm trying to remember. I guess I'm doing pretty good, but I may have missed one or two. Number 41, white American slaveholders used to induce white women to marry Negro slaves in order to hold the woman slave for life. White American slave holders used to induce white women to marry Negro slaves in order to hold the woman slave for life. Thomas Jefferson, 42, third president. I don't know what that has to do with 100 facts about the Negro. Well, I guess slave. Okay, I guess I would say white American slave holders used to induce white women to marry Negro slaves in order to hold the woman slave for life. 42. Thomas Jefferson's third president of the United States and the father of Declaration of Independence was the father of a large number of mulatto children. His wife protested loud and long to no avail. Patrick Henry, another signer of that document, had a Negro son named Malachta. They was raping and taking over women, and just horrible. Number 43. Napoleon planned to solve the color problem in Haiti by making it legal for each man to take 3 wives, 1 white, 1 mulatto, the other black. He had several conferences with the theologians on this grand measure and tried to win the consent of the Pope. So how he was going to solve the color problem? By mixing them. Whew, Lord have mercy. Number 44. I'm not going to get into making no comments. It's like, wow. This in the book of 100 amazing facts about the Negro. Some of the stuff shows amazing. 42. Number 44. In 1787, while a party of 351 freed Negroes was aboard a ship at Portsmouth, England, en route to Sierra Leone, West Africa. The authorities brought on board 62 white women, prostitutes, and others whom they wished to get rid of, and married them to as many men and sent them off to be the future mothers of the colony. Wow. Let me read that again. Let me just go back, y'all. And this is in 1787, while a party of 350 free Negroes was aboard ship at Portsmouth, England, en route to Sierra Leone, West Africa. The authorities brought on board 62 white women. They were prostitutes and others whom they wished to get rid of, and married them to as many men. Talking about the black men. Which men? The black men? Among men, and sent them off to be the future mothers of the colony. Future mothers of the colony. I don't even know if I want to go even further, because I'm just reading this myself as I go. I haven't even read the book, just reading it right now, sharing it. Number 45. In the 1850s, Miss Lemon, an English woman, was queen of the slave trader at Rio Pongo, one of the principal slave posts in West Africa. She had a fort armed with cannon and armed by 300 devoted blacks. She had 3 mulatto children by a Negro, a boy and a girl. One of the latter married a white slave trader. Okay, one of her, I guess her offsprings. And the other a British consul. Okay, I'm going to end there, you all. I just thought I'd bring 24 more. It's interesting, very interesting. I'm going to have to read through the rest of them before I post. the rest of this. I need to go out. Anyway, I'm going to look at the rest of them before I start posting because I was surprised by some of this, and then on some of this too, I have some questions regarding as far as I have to go back and look at some of these. But anyways, I'm going to end it here, and I just thought I'd share this book that has 100 amazing facts about the Negro with complete proof. So this is a book that's on Amazon, and I'm just sharing it. So you all have a good evening. Shalom.